gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast. It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You've got a four abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post here alongside my co-host, all of the above. Erin Evernham, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Doing really, really good. Just everything's good. Everything is good. Ashley and I, we chatted over the last couple of days, and April showers are over. April showers bring May sprint car racing. That's what that old nursery rhyme, whatever it said.
That's what I learned.
April showers bring May sprint car racing.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to do. So that's what we're going with. Really, really cool. Fun stuff. All right. Before we get into it, okay, last week's show was an abbreviated, recorded early show because I was jumping on a bird and headed to the high limits race. And boy, I'm telling you what, there is, you know this as well as I do, there is nothing better than being in the sprint car pits.
No.
And just wandering around and meeting, catching up with people. You know, I had a great bench racing session with Terry McCarl.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know, exactly.
I didn't get any text. You didn't fill me in.
Well, no, I was
busy
busy
probably
talking.
Inappropriate
yes, exactly.
anyway.
Yeah, I didn't want somebody to catch my text messages in the cyber world. No, you know, I mean, it was just talking about his boys racing, and he just and you know, just all along, every stop, great visits, just really, really cool. It's so neat. It's great. We live remotely here, and I know a lot of you fans are in the same boat. You know, those of you in central Pennsylvania, again, appreciate what you have, because you can go to sprint car races all the time. There's a lot of us in other parts of the country where we don't get a chance to go, and this is not whining. This is just stating it that, man, to get there at the sprint car race was so good.
Yeah.
There's other parts of the country where the World of Outlaws or All-Stars come through town once or twice a year, and that's what you get, you know. And just those of you in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Knoxville, California, just get out there and appreciate it, because those of us who don't get a chance to do it that often, man, I'm telling you what, I could have spent another hour pre-race. And then my protocol is, once they start putting heat in the motors,
yeah,
I generally will go to the stands. I don't have business down there. One less body down there. Yeah. There are a lot of other people who seem to feel that that's when they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I'm one of those that's like, and I'm the same way with NASCAR, unless I'm doing a practice show, once they start practicing, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, you know, the teams in the drive, they all, their game faces are on.
I'm not going to talk to people, you know, in between I mean, it's just so. But it was just so cool, but I could have gone another hour. So you got people you know and people you do know, and then I run into people that you know. Okay? Eric Wilcox.
Yep.
You know Eric. You guys are really tight going back.
Well, yeah, I actually, my dad's best friend was his father, Earl Wilcox. Quarter midgets, we raced together. And actually, his father passed away in the late 90s, and so did my father. They within a few years of each other. So after his father passed away, Eric actually fielded a quarter midget for me to race another season.
Yeah.
And he took care of it. And at the time, he was in his early 20s. So it was really, really neat. And our moms still stay. They just went on a cruise together.
They went on a cruise together. Yeah, he was telling me about that.
They're very close. So I've known Eric a long time. He actually messaged me this morning to see if I was going to Knoxville, which unfortunately I think this.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to Knoxville.
Well, I don't think so for that, but I also think we have some, pony nationals.
Well, exactly. So anyhow. He is working, somehow involved with the engine program, and it's like
he's good friends with the Randalls. Yep.
With the Randalls, okay. So he goes and
the littlest chicken. What's his nickname?
Right, the littlest chicken. Yeah. That's the Bush's chicken car.
Yeah.
Okay. So they give me a shirt, and then he says, "Wait a minute. Get one for Erin. So look at this, Erin.
I got swag.
You got swag. We got matching shirts. Look at that. Oh my gosh, the Chase Randall shirt. So,
very much appreciated.
Yeah.
What do they call him? Chicken Wing? There was a nickname for Chase.
Yeah, oh gosh, what is it? Yeah. Well, and then
he had a really good run going.
Yeah, he did. Oh man, he was rolling.
Yeah.
I have a hunch that he's one of these kids we're going to need to keep an eye on. Appreciate the shirts. We really do, Eric.
Thank you,
Eric. Really, really cool. I have a hunch he's one of these kids we need to keep an eye on. Now, remember, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, oh, I remember Chase Randall. Chase Randall at 34 Raceway earlier this year was the one that got together with Baylog.
Yes,
and won the
Victory
race.
Lane visit.
Victory Lane, and Baylog visited him in Victory Lane, and then they found the car light. And
I hope Eric was there that night, because Eric's a pretty tough guy. He played rugby at UConn.
Oh, yeah.
He's
So that's where it was like Chase Randall got a chance to meet Chase. What a good young man.
Yeah, good family.
And that's why I like being in the pit area, because you just get a chance to meet these people, put the driver's personality with the with who they are and that sort of thing. Had a great visit with Brock Zierfoss.
Yep.
And it was like, because when he rolled in there, everyone's like, whoa, wait a minute. Because conventional wisdom of World of Outlaw drivers are they're going to run the two $50,000 to win races, Lakeside and Lernerville, plus the 2 nights of Eldora, the million, the prelim night and the million. That's the conventional wisdom in talking to most of the teams. So we're sitting here, okay, and in comes Zierfoss. It's like, whoa. Brock did not run Lakeside. He had something he wanted to try, and so it was a high-paying test session, which I kind of like that idea. Yeah. I like that, and that's right. He's doing great. He's just, I love Chad. I just love being in the pit area, and so cool, so much fun. But yeah, lots of excitement, lots of stuff, and we'll get into our Hefner Racing product hot topics. This is kind of old news. Anthony Macri, okay. Now he's got Joe Mooney, crew chief, in the car. Anthony picked up the win. I saw something out of Anthony Macri that I never dreamed I would see. And if we see it more often, batten down the hatches. He was on the inside, feather footing. Yeah. Toe, gas brake, gas brake,
Look
gas
at you
brake.
knowing that. I'm so proud of you.
I've talked to Brad Sweet about this. So, and I know Brad does it.
I mean, from all that experience.
Yeah, all that experience I have. Yeah. No, Brad Sweet's the one that's taught me all of this stuff. Because when you talk to the big cat, you learn stuff, So I'm watching and I'm like, young man, who are you and what have you done with Anthony Macri? Because your right rear is not halfway up the wall at Port Royal.
Yeah.
And there is nobody that puts him up on the dash better than Anthony Macri. Okay?
True story.
If this young man gets as good feather footing on the bottom as he does putting him on the dash, the 22 win season he had last year is going to be small potatoes compared to where he's going. Yeah, exactly. I think first off, he had a good car, which that's the Joe Mooney effect, because he had never seen the place before. Anthony had never seen the place before, but the driving is all Macri, and man, he was good on the inside.
Yeah,
he was turning that car around the bottom, and I'm like, you're just waiting for him. You see that 39 car going down the chute, and you just say, watch this, he's going to the cushion. And he would dive down in, and then it'd be slow, and boy, he'd be gaining on people. I'm telling you, Macri figures this out. Macri figures going slow out. He's figured out going fast.
Yeah, he does.
He's mastered going fast. He figures out going slow, going through the middle, going through the bottom. Woo, man. I'm telling you what, and 34 Raceway, first time there, $23,023. He took the big check out of there. So going to be fun to watch the continued development of Anthony Macri. That's the story I come out of High Limits last week. And I know it's a week ago, and we don't spend a lot of time talking about it, but I just think I just saw something out of him that I just think is another part of his skill set that's going to be really, really good. Let's get into the Hefner Racing product hot topics. This past weekend, World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, Friday night Tri-City Speedway just outside of St. Louis. It was David Gravel, his first win since Volusia. Boy, it's been hot or cold for Gravel. Yeah. It was hot or cold this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend was a perfect example.
He won over Parker Price Miller, Logan Schuhart. Saturday night's race at Hobstadt. Now, I was at a local race here, got done, literally pulled in the driveway. What I do, and I figured this out. I used to be a distracted driver. I am no longer a distracted driver, but I do have my phone so I can plug it into the car. So I was going old school. It was dirt vision, and I set the phone aside. So it's audio only, like it used to be all the time.
Yeah.
It used to be audio only. It was all you had.
Yeah, back in my day.
Right, exactly. Back in the old day when all the old veterans were all racing, all the old folks were racing. Exactly. So I intentionally set the phone down and literally pulling in the driveway, and Johnny Gibson's like, you wanted the best, you got him. I said, man, I timed this perfectly. So I got home to watch that race at Hobstadt. Okay, so the first 5 or 6 laps, Carson Mazzino gets the lead. It's like, He's going to ruin another one. With all respect, Garcia Macedo. He can ruin a race. He's that good.
Yeah.
And that team is that good. So I'm like, he's going to ruin. Well, I was so wrong. Because here comes Sheldon. Okay, and Sheldon, and of course you have Tyler Courtney going from the back to the front. That was a spectacular run. And then the last 10 laps of that thing, Brady Bacon is like, where did you come? Where are you going? Oh, bye-bye.
That's where you're going.
That's where you're going. We're going to talk to Brady in a little bit. Victory Lane, career first World of Outlaw win Saturday at Hobstadt. Took the lead from Sheldon with 3 laps to go. 65th career World of Outlaw start, and he becomes the 150th driver. Man, gosh, that was a great race on Saturday night. There was a lot happened in that 35
Well, it's
laps
such a tight track, and it's like so heavy, it's fast, and it's elbows up, and there's lap traffic everywhere.
Yeah, they were lap traffic all the time.
It was great. I got to give Johnny G a shout out, bud.
Johnny
Gibson on the call when Brady took the lead.
I mean, Johnny Gibson is just so good at what he
really
does.
is.
I mean, it's just the whole thing. It was just spectacular. You know, and so Brady Bacon's one of our guests this week. We're also going to talk to Darryl Ruggles. Did you know Darryl at all?
I believe so.
You probably
years ago,
years ago. Darryl is a guy that's from Canandaigua, New York, and has raced there in everything from street stocks to big block modifieds, 305 sprint cars. He has overcome a major life challenge and is getting ready to go back to racing. We're going to talk to Darryl Ruggles as well on the show. Other winners this past weekend, NARC King of the West, it was Dominic Scelzi over Corey Day. Corey Day this year on the King of the West, 2 firsts, 2 seconds. Not bad when your average finish is 1.5. But Dominic Scelzi said, I'm going to take this one. You finish second. This is one of those weeks you finish second.
What did Dominic say? Was it his 30th career NARC win? He posted
I think so. Something. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 30th.
I
think it is. Yeah. Yeah. And then St. Francis County, Kyle Bellum was just one of those great 360 to graduate 410 drivers. And how about this? The ASCS Elite North, Phillips County, Colorado, still winning, second time this year, Sammy Swindell.
I saw that. And did I see he's going to be at Kokomo tomorrow? I think I saw
he's going to be at Kokomo tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Batten down the hatches. They'll be losing their minds at Kokomo. So fun stuff, that's for sure. And speaking of fun stuff, and I may not know about this.
I mean, you made it sound like you did today. I was impressed.
Because, like I said, I'll never forget years ago when Brad Sweet talked about that with Knoxville. And I've always, and then my hands are always.
And it's exactly, I mean, it's.
And that's it.
I mean, now, that's what I meant. You kind of look like you knew what you were talking about.
Exactly. If those of you listening, I'm moving my hands up and down, okay? Like this, brake gas, brake gas, brake gas. Those of you watching
it's not just like that when you're doing
exactly.
it.
But I mean, it's like I know what I'm doing. Now, while I don't know the first thing about driving a sprint car, I do know about the mules at Hefner Racing Products because it's the absolute #1 pit utility vehicle in sprint car racing. Midget racing is a custom mule conversion from HRP. It starts with a solid platform, dependable, good-looking Kawasaki mule, and Erin, it's customized and built to customer specifications.
It sure is. There's options like generator, air compressor, shock and radius rod racks, amazing toolboxes and drawers, LED lighting, walk-on roofs, and more. HRP mule conversions perform, outlast, and maintain their value better than any other utility vehicle.
www.hrpracing.com, hrpracing.com. One of the other things that we learned about them, too, is there's plenty of headspace in it, so that if you feel like you need to wear a Hans device.
And a helmet.
Which somebody did, while someone else is driving, you can do that as well.
And I was glad I had that on.
You had that on, exactly. HRPRacing.com. Stay with us. When we come back, Brady Bacon joins the show. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Johnny Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
You know, there are times when I just feel like the biggest idiot on the planet, and we just had one of those. Okay, so we've dialed up Brady Bacon. Okay, he's on our Sage Fruit hotline. And I'm like, all I could say is, man, dude, that was great. That was awesome. I'm so excited, so excited. And it's like, I was sitting on my couch in Concord,
But you
North
were
Carolina.
doing this. Like
no, I
you
wasn't
were.
doing the foot-to-foot, the gas and brake thing. Now, I don't know what Brady was doing other than going like crazy and picked up the win. Career first World of Outlaw win. I thought it was spectacular, but it doesn't even matter. He joins us on the hotline. Brady Bacon joins us. Hello, Brady. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Sorry, I'm just so fired up about that win because you just, I mean, dude, we know we have found ways to talk to you when you flipped a Silver Crown card with no wing at all. I was just glad because we can actually call you and talk about a Wing Nation and a World of Outlaw win. Congratulations! It has got to feel really good for you to get that first career World of Outlaw win.
Yeah, it does. We've actually been close several times for as little as we race, and especially at Hobstadt. So I was glad to finally get the job done.
Brady, talk about as I think you were sixth or so, made your way to the front, but you got behind Sheldon. You saw some lap traffic, and in your victory lane interview, you said something like, you found that more than 100%. When you're in that moment and you can taste victory, how is it possible as a driver to find a little bit more?
I don't know if it's just adrenaline or what, but maybe willing to take some extra risks. But I knew that he was going to catch lap traffic, and then we were going to be potentially quite a bit faster than him for a couple laps, so we had time to catch him. You obviously don't know how many exactly laps are left, but I knew it was winding down pretty quick. And once I got by Macedo, I felt like we had a really good car, and I felt like if I got to Sheldon, especially in traffic, I would have a shot to get him. So I did all I could to make it happen, make sure I got there before the race was over.
How important is it, your car, the way you maneuvered through the lap traffic coming down to 3 and 4 and got to the inside of Sheldon there, how important is it when you have that moment to be aggressive and seize that moment as a race car driver?
Very important, especially every year it gets tougher and tougher and everyone gets more aggressive. So you got to capitalize on any opportunity that they give you, and sometimes people make opportunities that they're not given. So I don't typically try to race that way, but it has become kind of part of racing now, and you gotta definitely capitalize and pounce on any chance you get.
Brady, what is it about Hobstadt that suits you so well? Two runner-up finishes with the World of Outlaws in the past, and then the big win this past weekend. What is it that just works for you there?
Just a lot different from anything else the Outlaws run. Super tight corners. The dirt doesn't have a lot of grip. It takes away a lot of the air and the aero stuff that they kind of play to their advantage most of the time, and kind of gets back to like the mechanical grip of the car, which is what we work on all the time in non-wing sprint cars. So it plays into most non-wing guys' hands. It takes the air out. We're not sitting on our bump stop all the way around. You're just kind of driving the car. It kind of makes our non-wing cars are kind of difficult to drive around there, and you put the wing on and you feel like kind of like Superman, because you drive them actually similar, but the wing definitely helps a lot at Hobstadt.
Man, oh man, that's fascinating. What's the reaction, Ben? If I'm sure you've got some text messages. What's the reaction, Ben Brady?
I think everyone, I've been around the sport for a long time, and the people that have been involved kind of know that place owed me a win, and yeah. I'm always fast there. So I got a lot of congratulations, Brad. We were actually roommates in 2008 when we raced for Casey Kane. So he, pulled up beside me, fist bump. So I think everyone was excited. Obviously, I was excited, but we worked really hard. We got, Matt Hummel has been on the Outlaw Tour in the past, and he's working on the car and has been with me for the last, 7 or 8 years. And DJ, my main crew guy here, this is his 6th year. So we've been trying hard, and everyone knows we've been trying hard, and we finally got it done. And a lot of congratulations from a lot of people.
Brady, you said this was a check off the bucket list, something you really wanted to do. Where does this win stack up with the list of accomplishments that you have? I mean, obviously you've had a very successful career, but where does this World of Outlaw win stack up against it?
It's definitely very close to the top of the list. I've won a lot of cool races, but the World of Outlaw win is definitely, it's kind of the pinnacle of the sport, the series. And growing up, wing sprint cars was what I grew up around in Oklahoma, and always watching the Outlaws when they came to town. That was kind of before it became popular to want to be a NASCAR driver. Everybody wanted to be a World of Outlaws sprint car driver. So to get that win and then kind of get on the elite list of people that have won in all the series that I've won is pretty cool.
Pretty cool indeed. 150 drivers. You were the 150th driver to win a World of Outlaw race. Brady, your winged program, I know you've dabbled in it for the last couple of years. More of the same this year? Do you have more races lined up? What does your winged program look like for this year?
Yeah, we have put some stuff together to run a lot more, about double our schedule from the past couple of years. That was already our 6th race of the year, and typically we wouldn't have raced any at all yet at this point of the year. So we're going to try for about 35 races. With the schedule kind of changed last weekend with Texas, I think we're going to try to run all the high limit races now, and Knoxville, Kings Royal, the Million, as many as we can, and then kind of at the end of the year, September, October, we kind of will see where we stack up and decide whether we want to go to Tuscarora 50 and things like that. So. We're really pleased with the progress we've made so far. I think the new tires kind of put a reset on everything and gave us kind of a fighting chance to get back in contention, and been working hard and getting better every time we hit the track. And obviously this win will hopefully help boost that. And we got another good track coming up tomorrow at Kokomo.
Brady, you've run wing cars on and off throughout your career. How does this, or how do you make the decision to do what you're doing this year? Is it opportunity, or is it what you wanted to kind of go non-wing racing, or is it more about, like I said, the opportunities that have presented themselves to you?
It's opportunity is what makes sense. I mean, non-wing racing's kind of become our bread and butter, but there's just not as much of it. It's hard to make a really good living just racing non-wing sprint cars, because outside of the USAC Sprint Car Series, which has been, increasing their purse and point fund and incentive package a lot in the last few years, there's only, with rainouts and stuff, you're only going to get 40 races in. Well, that's not quite enough to support a whole team. Mm-hmm. So we've been able to, have some good people come on board and kind of expand their role in the team and help us to kind of jumpstart our wing program back and get to where we can run that whenever we have, an off night or off weekend with USAC.
Yeah, you just mentioned that the way the schedule followed the high limits, that probably, though, had to factor in. We've talked to so many sprint car drivers, Tuesday, Wednesday, $23,000 or $50,000 to win. That has to be a factor as well when you look at this. And prior to the schedule change where you're going to be able to run all of them, that had to factor into a number of the races you had planned. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and it's not necessarily just the high limit series either. I mean, you got $1 million to win a race. Yeah. These races are paying $250,000, $150,000. I mean, obviously, it'd be pretty miraculous for us to win one of those races, but those races still pay $2,500, $15,000 to start the Knoxville Nationals, I think, this year. So the more, and to be competitive at those races, you have to race. So that definitely factored in. But yeah, those 11 races that are going to be free on our schedule obviously give us a lot more opportunities to race for good money. And those tracks are more to our liking. Usually they're shorter tracks and stuff that kind of give us a little bit better chance than the half-mile stuff that the Outlaws are so comfortable on.
Yeah, that makes total sense. All right, final question for you. Has CCN already got the T-shirt designed? Is the T-shirt already designed? Everything good now? You guys moving?
I don't think it's designed completely, but it's definitely in the works.
Wow,
so,
I would be shocked.
We'll have something to post here by the end of the week.
Okay, yeah, I would be shocked if you didn't have something in the works. Okay, and that would have been the breaking news of forever, because Brady Bacon and CC ought to sell T-shirts, that's for sure. And you guys do a great job with it, and I respect what you guys do with that so much, and of course the driving as well. That's obviously going pretty good as well. So Brady, we really appreciate your time today. We wish you the best at Kokomo. What's the weekend plan for you? I haven't looked at the USAC schedule. What's your weekend plan look like?
It's a really busy weekend. So USAC is at Eldora with the
that's right.
Outlaws, so we'll be running both divisions, both nights at Eldora. Obviously tomorrow's Kokomo high limit race, and then we got to scoot down to Terre Haute on Sunday for the Silver Crown race. So a pretty packed weekend here, and then the following week's kind of normal, and then we're pretty much insanity for the next 3 months after that.
Yeah, insanity. The insanity we all love, that's for sure. Thanks for the time. Congratulations, Brady. We were so pumped up to see you get that win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You got it. Brady Bacon joining us here on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Man, that is a freaking race car driver right there.
Yes, it is.
I mean, man, I'm telling you.
Well, how many races is he going to have this week? High limits, double duty at Eldora, 2 nights.
4, 5, 6 races this weekend. Yeah, Silver Crown at Terre Haute. Silver Crown State Terre Haute, Silver Crown at Terre Haute. 6 races. Man, oh man. Gosh. Bonkers. Love it. Absolutely love it. Always appreciate Brady. And he's just one of the kindest people on the planet.
The whole family.
The whole family. Well, he gets it honest. His dad, his grandfather, the whole family. It's just a generational thing where it's what they do. They're good people and great racers. And man, I love seeing the success. That's for sure. And I'm glad he's running a lot more wing cars this year.
Yeah, me too.
35 race schedule. Ooh, see how many times he can park it on the front stretch. Hey, stay with us. That is a great driver, Brady Bacon. We have got a great story, another great driver, Darryl Ruggles. He joins us next on the Sage Fruit Hotline. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest exhibit will be our track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway inside the museum's main floor from April 3rd through October 2nd this year. You'll learn about the beginning of Williams Grove Speedway and the evolution of sprint car racing on the East Coast through 8 of the iconic big cars and sprint cars that made up the history of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania's Williams Grove Speedway. Plus, you'll see videos of historic National Open sprint car races and other racing events that put Williams Grove on the map. That's the track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway, featured April 3rd through October 2nd at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Erin Evernham and Steve Post. And Erin, my history, you know my history, it goes back to big block modifieds, Northeast, and the name Ruggles has been around racing for a long, long time. And then a couple of years ago, I was doing a Carolina Sprint Tour weekend over at Fayetteville, and in comes Darryl Ruggles and his daughter, Alicia Bay. Yeah. And we just had a great weekend out there of fellowship, friendship it became, and everything else. And he's a racer. That's all he is. He's a racer. That's the highest compliment here on Wing Nation we give people, and that's what he is. And he joins us because there's quite a story here, and we'll get into that. Joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Hello, Darryl. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We are doing well. Darryl, before we get into the last 6 months of your life, I just want to kind of establish, when did you start racing? How did it all begin for you?
Started back in '84. I was just graduating from high school. I worked on families' cars. I did all their body work and stuff on the cars, and they ran street stocks at, Land of Legends. It was Canandaigua Speedway at that time, but I worked on their cars. I did all the body work on them, on my brother-in-law's car, and my other brother's car, and I just kind of says, man, I want to try this myself. And a guy got me a old Camaro 6-cylinder. We converted it, put a roll cage in it, went out there and started racing with a 6-cylinder. Did very well with a 6-cylinder with the V8s, and we ended up stepping up, and I don't think we've slowed down. We just keep on moving and moving. We've gone through all the classes, and now we're in the sprint cars, and I just absolutely love it.
Darryl, I'm sure our paths crossed back in my ESS days, Empire Super Sprints days. But some of the research I did before we did this interview with you, he's talked about your passion for motorsports, and just hearing you talk about your background and how you got started. Talk about how important, the racing in that community is to your life.
Well, that's all I know, other than working, doing the body work and stuff. But that's all I've ever done, raced, and just the people, the fans, the family, the friends that you gather along the way. Of course, when you race, you have some enemies along the way too, but that's part of racing. But the passion of racing has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, really has. Darryl, your stepping stone along the way, you talked about the street stocks, you moved 358 modifieds, big block modifieds, and now you've settled in and you've ran some 360 sprint cars, but you found a really good home with 305 sprints. There's a tour up there, the Capital Region Sprint Association, Land of Legends Raceway in Canandaigua runs a weekly division. You've even traveled, like I said, down to North Carolina. What's there been about sprint cars and finding your home right now in this 305 class where you're at as well?
I mean, I definitely would love to do more of the 360 stuff, but it's just so convenient to run, only 5 minutes from the house at a track that you grew up with and you love. Land of Legends is just such an awesome track. There's such great people, such great fans. The owner, Paul Cole, has given us a great racetrack. They promote us well. Now this year we can watch it, on Dirt Vision every weekend along with the Land of Legends TV. So there's a lot of people that, that are fans that can't go every week so they can watch it. It's just so awesome to be able to go, a couple minutes from home to go race, and then you go back to your local establishments to support them, after the races, and all your sponsors and your family and your friends, you're great, you're my great help working on the car, they can make every race. So it makes it so convenient, and it's so fun to run Canandaigua Land of Legends.
Yeah, it really is. And, sprint car racing, local establishments, afterward, the crew, the family, the friends, there's so much about it. Darryl, I want to get into about the last 6 months of your life. In fact, ironically, it was on your birthday. You were working in your auto body shop. What happened?
Well, me and my wife planned a weekend away for the birthday, and I was in a hurry at the body shop, and it was my own fault. Had to get some stuff sandblasted. My sandblaster that I had for years wasn't working, so we went and purchased another one, and unfamiliar with it, and I thought I released the air out of it, and apparently I didn't. So I unscrewed it to fill the sandblaster back up to continue what I was doing so that I can finish my day. And the cap that holds the pressure in the sandblaster, which is a steel cap about 3 inches around, I was unscrewing it, and 150 pounds of pressure, it blew that off, and it just hit me right dead smack in the eye, and sent me for a loop, and the rest of it was many days in the hospital with a crushed skull and a complete fractured eye.
So this has left you then with a prosthetic eye. You do not have an eye on the right side. We're not even back to racing yet. You were in quite the battle with the crushed skull and everything, just for survival and trying to get back to maintain a normal life.
Yeah, we didn't know what was going to happen. The doctor was pretty concerned about the crushed skull at first. We laid there for quite a few days. It was 11 or 12 days because they couldn't do anything. They were concerned about the crushed skull. So they kept a close eye on that, and then after like day 11 or day 12, they felt that it was safe enough to go in and operate on the eye. And we kind of knew what the outcome was going in. We knew that they weren't going to be able to save it because they've looked at it, for every day until then. There was really nothing left of the eye or the eye socket. So they were concerned about the skull fracture. They felt comfortable after, day 11 or 12 to go in to do the surgery. And, and when I woke up from surgery, they told me, but we already kind of had that idea that we were going to lose the eye. And at that point, losing an eye is a lot better than the outcome of the other end. And I'm happy that we just lost the eye.
Yeah, as you should be. We all are. That's for sure. So you're starting the long recovery process. At what point did racing enter your mind, and facing the reality that you might have ran your last race? What was your battle like with that as you were coming out of this terrible situation, Darryl?
Well, my wife would much rather me be done because she doesn't want to see nothing else happen again. But
sure.
She knows that my love is for this. So we talked about it many, many times prior to. We talked to the racing organizations, Mike Emhoff from CRSA, and we talked to Paul Cole from Land of Legends, and they wanted, something from my doctors, and we went to the doctors probably a month after surgery, after we were recovered, just to find out where we were going to stand, because I didn't want to go and start the rebuild process on all the cars, and then find out that I'm not eligible to get in a car and go race at these local racetracks. And so we crossed all that, and we dotted all the T's, and we did everything we needed to do to get permissions. And then the big thing was they needed to see how I was going to do in the car on the racetrack. And I think those answers were given this past couple of weeks with the practice sessions, because the first week we were there, we set fast time for a couple of the sessions. And then this past Thursday night, we had another practice session, and we were super fast there. And I'm pretty comfortable in traffic, and I'm just real comfortable in the car. So as far as that goes, I think I'm 100% ready to rock in the race car. Now the next thing is going to be to see how I'm at with a crowd of people. So I think I'll be fine.
Darryl, when you got all the indications that you could do this, your doctor okayed it, everyone was all right with it, before you even got in the car, what was that like? What was the emotions of knowing, all right, these people know I'll be all right if I get in the car, and giving you that hope you can race again?
Well, I think it was my daughter and my wife and everybody standing there. When I went out for practice, they were kind of waiting to see what I did. And the first time they wound us up, the foot went to the floor, and we never lifted for like 10 laps. And I felt super comfortable. And I came in, and I lifted the helmet up, and I was smiling from ear to ear. They go, "We're in trouble."
In a good way. In a good way. Now, the irony of this is, and I watched a video that one of the guys up there did, a great video. The interesting thing, and we look at this, the right eye in sprint car racing and the way the wing lies in your sprint car, you're certainly compromised a little bit in your vision. There's no denying that peripheral vision to the right side. But with the way the sprint car is designed, there's a lot of limitations to right side periphery anyhow, correct?
Yes. And you're probably referring to the Doug Elkins video.
Elkins, yes. It was a great video. Great video. Yeah.
He wanted to see, and we kind of pointed out in the video, when you're sitting in the car, you turn to the right, and I can see the inside of my seat. So, and my eye can't see around the seat. So in the car, I don't have any side vision that I cannot see that I could see before, because that seat would have actually blocked what I would have seen with the right eye. The only difference is they say the depth perception of, like, with that eye not being there, you don't know how close you are to a certain object to the right-hand side. So, and that was my worry. So the first set of hot laps, every lap I could do, I went right as close as I could get to the wall as I was comfortable. And I was pretty good. I didn't touch the wall, so I was pretty happy there. But as far as looking out the right side with the wing and these safety seats that we have, the containment seats with the headrest and all that, I don't know if I could see any more with or without my eye, because you never compare that, because you never want to think of something like that.
Yeah.
No, it's a fair point. It really is.
Yeah. Darryl, you mentioned a lot about your wife and your daughter, the family operation, and also just the racing community in general. How important were they a factor in getting through the 6 months of what you've had to go through?
My wife was there every minute, with my daughter as well. It was just plain misery. It was horrible. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But my wife was there every minute of the day. The guys at the shop kept my business going, which kept us, doing very well with that. I can't thank them enough. And then the support from the people and everybody calling, and, the prayers. It was awesome. But you can't, you take family out of that. My wife and her mom and her dad and my kids and stuff, boy, they were there every minute of the day.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Boy, that's stuff we all learn. Now, Darryl, you were on Wing Nation a couple of years ago because you broke your hand or something, and you am I correct? You had them mold the cast so you could my home track, Penn Can Speedway. So you broke your hand and you had the cast molded to the steering wheel. Is that accurate?
Yes. We broke the hand. We broke the hand, and then it was like we went to. He goes, "You're not going to be able." I go, "You've got to mold this." We actually took the steering wheel to the doctor, and they molded it so I could get my fingers around the steering wheel, and that was pretty awesome that weekend because we went to Penn Can and we won.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love it. That's my home track.
That was pretty cool. Penn Can's it's a little ways away from here, but, Mike Emhoff from CRSA gives us a place to race there a couple times a year, along with his organization. And that was one of the races that I'll never forget because I persevered with a broken hand, which a lot of people say, why are you even getting in the car? We had to trim the fire suit a little bit to get in, but everything was great. We won, and that was an awesome night.
Your story, I'm not surprised you didn't win, and I'm not surprised you were racing, and really cool. Wanted to cover one other area with you. You are part of a really unique situation in that you are a father and daughter racing team. Alicia Bay, your daughter races. What's that like as a dad to get to race with your daughter?
That's pretty awesome. That's my focus is making sure her car was the best. I gave her the better tires. I gave her the better, I tried to give her, the better motor. And she did very well. She did awesome with it. And then, but I don't know if you heard, but this year she quit racing.
Yep.
She doesn't want to do it anymore. So, that took the wind out of my sails for me being in the car. But I've got great people, Brian, my wife, and, Alicia and Lance and, Jeff. Those guys are still helping me go along, move along. And this is something that I love to do, but it was a lot more fun racing it with my daughter week in and week out. But this year she says she's going to take the year off or not race again, which I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that's her decision. She wants to spend more time with her boy racing and spend more time with her son, which, that's very important as well. She's got 20 years of great racing experience. She's got tons of wins. She's got a lot of things that she can do. You know what I mean? So this year it'll be a little different without my my partner on the track, but she'll be there with me every minute of the day.
Yeah, and you stated the key there is her son racing. The last I knew, he was running microds and everything. So she's still involved with racing, just in a mom role and a daughter role, not a driver role. How's the kids racing going?
They haven't started yet. We were supposed to go to practice tonight. Their first race was supposed to be on Sunday, but that got canceled due to Mother Nature. She plays pretty evil lately up here, and we've lost 2 at the Land of Legends Raceway to Mother Nature, and we lost 1 to the microd track. Mother Nature, I don't think she likes racing, but the weather's going to change, and we're going to be able to get back at it here soon, I hope.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I love it. That next generation coming through the pipeline, running the microds up in upstate New York, which is such a neat type of racing up there. It really, truly is. Well, Darryl, I am so glad we got a chance to catch up with you. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I was just so excited to see you back in the race car again because I know that's where you want to be and where you love to be. So congratulations on the recovery, and can't wait to see your smiling face in victory lane soon. But we wish you the best on that.
Thank you so much.
There we go.
And thank you.
There we go. Darryl Ruggles joining us here on Wing Nation. There's a story for you.
That is.
Well, I ended the last one by saying, man, that Brady Bacon, he's just a racer. Well, I'll tell you what, Darryl Ruggles,
that's a racer.
That's a racer right there. So love that story. Knew the story, followed along with Darryl as a Facebook friend, so followed along with the story. And then as we got closer and closer, had some folks reach out, and I'm like, let's get closer to the season. Let's get these test sessions out of the way. And I saw the video that Doug Elkins did after the first test session, and I'm like, oh, my God. Darryl's going to be back winning races. The only reason Darryl probably hasn't won a race yet is Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which is great. Great stuff. We appreciate Darryl Ruggles joining us here on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st, and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified, sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation. Wow, what a show. Brady Bacon and Darryl Ruggles.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, we got some good folks in our sport. We really do. Speaking of good folks, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, the birthday calendar today, Sam Taylor, Dwayne Pappy Carter Sr. later this week, Mark Kinzer later this week, Rip Williams, Lloyd Beckham, and Dave Steele all have birthdays, or would have had birthdays in some instances, coming up later this week. Now, we talk a lot about those birthdays, but I do want to also mention what they have going on. The track tribute, and I cannot wait to see this.
Oh, I saw a little preview of it, yeah.
Williams Grove Speedway is the track tribute going on. Williams Grove Speedway. How about that?
Yeah.
Man, that's a tribute to a track right there. Yeah. And so they did Ascot. They've done some driver things over the course of time, but so when you get out there, World of Outlaws are out there in June. Of course, the USAC sprint cars are out there in early June. The Knoxville Nationals are coming up. Or if you just find yourself in Iowa looking for something to do on a Tuesday, after Watch Wing Nation, of course, you stop there and look at their tribute to Williams Grove Speedway. You can find out more at sprintcarhof.com. That's www.sprintcarhof.com. All right, Erin, we don't have to wait long.
Nope.
Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, High Limit Sprint Car Series, Kokomo, Indiana, down at the Kokomo. Yes, I think that's a different Kokomo than the song is. We'll take it, though.
Yeah.
Fascinated to see what this one looks like. I will. My assumption is that they will have a boatload of people there.
Yes.
Because Kokomo opens the gates.
Thick of it.
Yes, it is in the thick of it, and can't wait to see what happens.
It produces some great racing.
Yeah, I think we're in for a real treat. I think we're in for a real treat tomorrow night. Okay, and then once we get racing tomorrow night, then just batten down the hatches. Okay, Thursday night, the All-Star Circuit of Champions are over in Chillicothe, Ohio, at Atomic Speedway. They're running a doubleheader with the Lucas Oil late models.
That's cool.
Man, that is really cool. $10,000 to win for the sprint cars. It's going to have a whole field of cars there, okay? Speaking of a whole field of cars, World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, Friday and Saturday, Let's Race 2. USAC Sprint Cars and the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, plus a bevy, and I mean a bevy of other cars, because there's this little thing coming up in July called the
little thing
Eldora Million.
Yeah.
And they are coming from far and wide. Okay? I was reading Jeremy Elliott does top 50 or his 50 stories. There's a number 69K
making the trip
this weekend.
Sweet.
Yeah. So Lance Deweese, Lance actually they're going to run Atomic on Thursday night.
Wow.
And then head up to Eldora and get that baby dialed in.
Getting off the porch,
getting that baby dialed in. And Lance has won the King, or Donnie Kreitz won the King's Royal. That's one of the best stories ever, because Earl paid out in cash, and Donnie Kreitz goes up to get his check, and it's this pile of cash, and Donnie's like, "What in the world do we do?" And Donnie, one of the guys on the crew, was a former amateur or former pro wrestler. And so Donnie went down, they emptied out the suitcases, he grabbed his wrestler front and went up, and they got their earnings. And I love it that Donnie Kreitz and Lance, they're going up there to win the million in a couple of weeks, or a couple months, but they're going there this weekend to fine-tune it. And that's what there's a lot. Brownie, my understanding, according to Jeremy Elliott, again, Brownie's going to be over there taking off from opening night at Knoxville, because that $1 million is, well, it's a freaking $1 million. Yeah, it's $1 million. So Eldora is going to be bonkers this weekend. I mean, it's just, Eldora is bonkers all the time. But when you throw in the All-Stars, they get another crack at it, too, to warm up. They have a Speed Week show there coming up at Eldora. But this is for the Outlaws, and a lot of people, this is the only tune-up for that $1 million race. And so, man, I'm telling you, Eldora is going to be awesome this weekend. Gosh, it's going to be awesome. Dirt Vision will have all of that if you're not there. This is one of those weekends where USAC is probably on Flow and Dirt Vision, and we're flipping channels. Oh gosh,
and it's not like easy to flip channels when you're streaming. I mean, it's not that hard.
I love what we do with streaming. I really do. This is one of there's probably 4 or 5 nights a year that are just like, oh my gosh, can't we just figure out some kind of a way to make this work? But they won't. And so
you get the multiple devices.
Yes, multiple devices. Exactly. I can barely run one device. My God.
Well, you're getting the pedaling now.
I got the pedaling down. That's right.
So you should be able to get the devices soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we started off the show talking about April showers and May sprint car races. Knoxville.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. Skagit. Let's hope. Butler Battleground scheduled to open this weekend, and Tri-City Speedway in Franklin, Pennsylvania, they open on Sunday night. So I am hoping that when we come in here next Tuesday, we're talking about all kinds of races, all kinds of results, all kinds of great stories. This is just getting old. The problem is every race we have is spectacular.
Yeah.
It's like, can you imagine if we had a full schedule of races? I don't know. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. This weekend coming up on Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, sunshine. We're going to have sunshine. That's what we're going to have.
You're bringing the Mayflower.
We're bringing the Mayflower. Well, that's right. The sprint car races.
Now you got the sunshine.
Sunshine, yes. Tyler Courtney joins Ashley and I. That's Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. on Rev, and Friday afternoon on MAV TV at 12:30. So, man, I'll tell you what a fun time. Really is. Gosh, it's just let's just have some races. Let's just, all we ask for, just give us Wednesday through Sunday this week. That's all we want. We'll argue about next week.
I mean, even here, we've had rain every single weekend.
Been stupid here.
The weeks have been beautiful, and the weekends are rain.
I'm telling you, I know this is not related to sprint cars, but NHRA was here for the 4 Wide Nationals. Okay. You look at the weather forecast on Thursday and Friday morning.
Yeah.
They're washed out with all the prelims Friday. They're going to be able to get about 2 rounds of qualifying in on Saturday, and they're washed out all day Sunday. They ran late Friday night, got all of the prelims in. Saturday went off the schedule. They found a window of time on Sunday afternoon, and literally when that last dragster or funny car, whichever division was last, went down the course, they were flashing the signs. Thunder, lightning within 10 miles, get the hell out of here. I mean,
the wind was like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, the wind was like 30 miles an hour. They snuck that thing right in there. Yeah, they snuck that race right in there. They were about the only, I mean, we got some racing on Saturday night. I went to a local track up in Hudson, up in Tri-County, Granite Falls. It was good stuff. But, man, I'll tell you what, we need some good weather. Yeah. Fingers crossed. We did have good guests. There's no doubt about that. We really appreciate Brady Bacon and Darryl Ruggles for joining us and sharing their stories. Really, really fun stuff here today on the program. But more important than all of that, and we say it every week and we sincerely mean it, thank you for joining us here this week on Sage Fruit on Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit.